Why aren't you? There we go. Alright, what is up, everybody? It's been a minute. God, how the hell is everybody? Welcome in on a Sunday, and today we are back. It's been a while. It's been roughly about a week. Now I have gotten some help now that TJ is back. Big thank you to TJ for helping out posting the shorts the last couple of days because of me being at work excessively. But it's been fun, not gonna lie. Lots to get into today as we have something new today, and we're calling it my nickname for a very particular baseball team in the Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome to the Brew Crew. We are on Iowa Plains today. I have been in search for a specific map to be able to, utilize this playthrough. And, I was unable to find one. And it took a while because I wanted the correct map. I didn't want I didn't want it poorly done. And that is something we are going to talk about today. As a couple of people have brought a couple of things to my attention. We'll get into that. I'm going to take y'all through. We'll talk about the newest playthrough and give y'all a little idea of what is to come. So we have the OBS. Shout out to McLean. Love this damn truck, man. By far my favorite truck. But let me go ahead and take y'all over here, and we'll get into this a little bit. I've got a lot of things to cover today, so we are going to be taking things rather slow, but hey, it is also Sunday, and it just, we're just going to get warmed up. So, and by the way, we did have a budget on this as well. So, this is going to be quite interesting. Oh, it was one more over. I kind of figured. this is our brewery. And here's the best part. This is, well, first of all, it's very private. There is a public version out there. But this version that you guys will see through this playthrough is very, very private because this one is mine. And I had this one done not just for me, but I also did some editing and etc. So this is our brew storage or our brewery. And so this is what we're going to be utilizing. Now I know the map has plenty of other productions. However, not necessarily my deal. I like being able to be my own person. So, not only that, but this truck is freaking dirty, dude. Crazy. Alrighty then. Alright, so let's get on down to the farm. We'll show y'all what that's looking like, and then on top of that, we got to pick up a house today. Now, obviously, that's going to be a little bit tough with, only 13,000, but whatever. But there are a couple other stipulations with this playthrough. We do not have semis in here. We don't have any of the big trailers. We don't even have a silo yet. All we have is a barn with some equipment that we bought off the used market. Except for like 2 things, and those 2 things being one is going to help us with the field, the other one is going to be for fertilizing the field. Well, we'll talk about it. Got some nice fences. Got a nice windy driveway, which, by the way, this was a pain in the to do. So we will hook up to the trailer. Nice. This, along with the grain truck back there that you see, is going to be our grain hauling system. Our grain hauling system, people. Then, of course, we have the grain truck, and the mulcher, got the barn, a massive cornfield. I kind of thought the corn was relevant since we are in Iowa, but, maybe that's just me. With that said, we don't have a house. We are going to have to grab us a house. Yes. And by the way, we don't even have those in. We have toy haulers. We have campers. We have RVs. We have mobile homes. Yeah. We also have a case sprayer. The 350 Patriot. By the way, does this look familiar from the other day? Does that look familiar? That, of course, being from the short the other day. The one that you guys went crazy on. We ended up getting 2K views on that. So y'all must have really liked it. And that makes me happy. I also want to take a moment and say thank you from the bottom of my freaking heart, man. We hit 11 freaking subscribers. I know people don't usually get excited about that. I don't really care. But, you know what? Any chance I get that I get to say that I'm grateful for you guys and what you guys do, and you guys being truly the MVP, the MVPs of this channel. That's all there is to it. Alright, don't need that open. Well, I guess I could move the mulcher in, I guess. This is going to be our combine. I have been super excited to use this ever since JCL put out the announcement that he was going to be doing case and Tired Iron Modding was going to be doing John Deere. And sure enough, it was, I couldn't wait to use it. And I thought about, like, maybe I just need to go back to, like, Westby or something to use these. And that's when I had the idea, like, alright, cool, let's just do it. Let's just get after the Iowa series and you know, let's just go from there. Speaking of which, you know, it's really no big deal. But guys, we got 3 freaking Iowa role plays. 3 of them. Well, 1 we haven't started yet because it's not released. And it's still in a testing phase. But we have Iowa Plains and UMRV. Anybody guess the other one? You guys will have to guess. Okay. How do I do this again? Oh, okay. And yet it still goes fast. I don't understand that. Okay. Alright. So, it is going to be a lot of driving today. But with that, let's go ahead and I want to start with the podcast update. So, I think we've finally got the pod figured out. I think. I could be wrong on that. But I think we've got her figured out. So, we also did record the episode like I said I would. However, it was not great. It was all over the place. I didn't like it. So we are going to recut it. Me and TJ. And we're going to go from there. Now, with that said, it does add another layer to YouTube here. With football season. I will go ahead and tell you primarily that this past week that I've been gone, I wouldn't say every week, but I would say a very, very large portion of it is going to be like that for football season, obviously with my job, and everything else that we do. But listen, we're going to refine the pod a little bit. And look, it's going to be the same concept. The same exact concept. We're going to have Friday picks. We're going to get you guys some baseball. If you guys like it, of course. But it is going to be football. It is going to be college. It is going to be NFL. We are going to start out with the NFC North. We're going to work our way through the divisions. And then we are going to get you a college episode. We're going to go through the college, talk about the college, and then we are going to get you set right up for week 0. And I'm very, very excited about that. But now listen, we got to refine the pot. Look, in my opinion, with us growing a little bit, I was going to say climbing, don't really know if that's the right word. The point is that, look, I am going to be very, very, very strict on myself because, guys, I have a standard. I treat the way that I think a lot like I do with my teams. There is a standard. And now that we're up to 11, yeah, I absolutely have to have a standard. And I'm not going to put out a bad product. I'm not. But what I want to do is I absolutely want to get you guys this pod. And look, it may take a couple of times. But look, we're going to get it to you. Now, of course, that also means on Fridays and Mondays, they're going to be extra fun. Because it means that Sunday night around probably, I don't know, probably at least midnight, we will go ahead and we will release Monday morning's episode. Monday evening, depending on how work goes, I think it's going to be fine because we're going to be doing a little bit of testing this week. I will get into that here in a moment. However, Monday evening, we are going to be on here for the live stream. Now look, I don't know if we can stream the pod or not. I know we want to work on a video element to an extent. So I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll figure it out. Then we'll go through the week. We'll probably start some shorts probably Tuesday, and then we'll really start working on getting into our live streams again Wednesday or Thursday, and then of course Friday, or no, excuse me, midnight Thursday evening, we will go ahead and what? Huh? That's crazy. Oh, it's because I was holding down the button. My goodness, I'm all over the place. Alright, anyway. Oh yeah. Thursday evening, we will put out the Friday episode. Friday episode of our picks, props, all sorts of good stuff. And then, of course, Friday evening, we will be right back at it. And we'll go ahead and we will do a live stream, and then go from there. And it does not mean that we're taking off the weekend either. Weekends, there might be some posts. There might be some shorts. There might be a new playlist created. Who knows? There's all sorts of opportunity. So, speaking of the playlist, make sure you guys are paying attention to that. I am dropping all sorts of hints in the playlist. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Because, man, ideas are popping up, and a lot of the times we are usually right on track. And so, a lot of those times, check the playlist out, because there is a lot of hints. Also, I do have a question for you guys. So last live stream, we were on No Creek. And so, it was interesting because for some reason, on my computer, I lost my thumbnails folder. I have no idea where it went. So, we had to put up a random. And I mean a random. And so, what I want to know is, do you guys like the random thumbnails better, or do you guys like the ones where they are keen to, let's just say, whether it's this playthrough or UMRV or Edgewater. Speaking of which will be back on this week. I want to hear from you guys on, because if you guys like the randoms better, I've got way more than I'd like to admit. Listen, way more than I'd like to admit. But if you guys like that, then I would like to end up using some more randoms. Now, I will say, a lot of the time, well, not a lot of the time, but most of the time, with that, there may or may not be some hints into what could be in the future. I will say though, in that thumbnail, there is a little surprise there. So look, I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but all I know how to do is what I love to do. And the thing is that you only get one shot. So Just be you. Don't be anybody else. Just be you. Alright. We'll get that filled up. And speaking of which, I did download a drone. I don't know if it's going to work on here. I know it's a mod. But we're going to have to figure that one out. Because if we can do that, then maybe we can get some freaking sick harvest shots. But anyway, yeah, that's really it for YouTube, guys. All I need to know is if you guys like those or not. If you guys like the random thumbnails better, then I'm going to just start doing random thumbnails. Now, it's not going to be every time, but it's going to be every now and then. As far as the playlist go, when it comes to it, there are a ton of videos that pop up, and a lot of the time, what it tends to be is that it is very, very simple. It is an idea, and I may or may not spend a lot of time on those ideas, but here's the point. I want to do a good job for you guys. That's all. Alright. So there's that. So there's your pod update. A little bit of YouTube in the mix. Look, I'm always going to talk about the channel to you guys. I'm always going to. Because, in my opinion, and I've always thought this way, is, yeah, I make the videos and the streams and all that, and I do what I do, and that's all fine and well. However, you guys are the reason that I'm here. You guys are the reason that I enjoy this, and to me, you guys are the MVPs of this channel, period. And when it comes to your guys' opinion, guys, to me it holds weight, period. So there's that. I reckon let's go ahead and start with some news. Local, and I don't know how much it matters because you're going to win all 4 games anyway. But this comes by way of Robert Godin of USA Today Sports. Breaking news, a deal between the NCAA and U of M head coach Jim Harbaugh that sidelined him for 4 games is reportedly now off. And Harbaugh is expected to coach all Michigan football games this season. So, look, I don't know how much it matters. I'm not going to do the usual media deal. But look, you could put a fan out there, and a fan would win you those 4 games. But it seems like this story is going to drag into 24. Don't really get it. It is what it is. Because here's my thing with this. My thing with this is very, very simple. When it comes to Michigan has done what I have screamed for years. take an SEC model. Take an SEC model, do whatever it takes to win, and go win a natty. And look, primarily this is Michigan's last year to do it. Just saying. But here's the deal. Look, I think this is going to be a very interesting year for college football. As we all know, the realignment phase has begun. And the realignment phase, to me, has inevitably put in, at least in my opinion, I think it's inevitable we're headed for 2 super conferences. Now, my opinion has changed a little bit. I thought it was going to be 2 super conferences with 20 teams. Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. College football heard that take and said, hold my beer. I've got something for you. Well, here we are. To me, it's going to come down to 24 team. 2 24-team super conferences. And look, it's going to be the haves and the have-nots. But as far as this news goes, look, it doesn't matter to me. Just win. Just win. You know, we talk about the hype train with the Lions. We talk about the hype train with Michigan. You know, as far as it goes, I think it's simple. You go out, you win your games. And it's really come down to a 3-game season, which is a SEC model. And look, I think it says it all. Michigan is willing to do anything to win. So for me, it doesn't really matter. If it matters to you, I would love to hear why. Okay, we'll get to the Lions in a little bit. I do want to talk Tigers, as the Tigers won last night. And look, this is truly a simple take, but in a way it is a hot take. Now, rarely ever will you hear me say hot take. Because I've said it before, and I'm sure I'll say it 1,000 times more before the end of this thing. Is that with the Tigers understood the assignment. And it was very simple. Get us through summer. Get us through summertime. And get us to football season. And look, they're on a little bit of a winning streak. It was obviously snapped beforehand. Before the first night they got to Boston. But here's the deal. For the people hanging on to the Tigers, look, to me, if you're going to make a run, now would be the time. Because come the end of this month, people are going to tune out. I mean, don't get me wrong, people tuned out on Friday. The point is that when September rolls around, well, actually the end of this month, when the end of August rolls around, it's very, very simple. It's time for football, so look, the Tigers are going to make a run. Now would be the time to do it. Along with that, we're going to stay in the realm of baseball. As I don't know if people are fascinated by this story or not. I know I am, because boy, oh boy, it sure seems like there's something more to the story than what we know. And look, I am the guy who is going to tell you that there is a lot to these stories. And this comes out of the Baltimore Orioles. And it is Kevin Brown. Now, Kevin Brown was suspended for bringing up a stat regarding the Orioles and the Rays. Oddly enough, this would have been Friday evening. Kevin Brown put out a statement. And, well, let me read this first. Because, well, I'll just tell you how I feel. O's fans, I'm a storyteller, and never want to be a part of the story. The most compelling story in baseball right now of the league, the most compelling story in baseball right now is the story of the league-leading Baltimore Orioles, the best, most exciting young team in the American League. Unfortunately, recent media reports have mischaracterized my relationship with my adopted hometown Orioles. The fact is that I have a wonderful relationship with the organization and our ownership and front office has fully supported me since 2019 when I first came aboard. I ask everyone to disregard the distracting noise of the past few days. I have worked closely with O's SVP, Greg Bader, for the past 4 years, and John Angelos, who is the owner. And I have a solid dialogue based on mutual respect. We are all good here in Birdland. I'm proud to be an Oriole and call Baltimore home. There is no place in baseball I'd rather be now and for the long haul. Go O's. If you expect me to believe under any circumstances that Kevin Brown wrote this statement, you are out of your mind. And I'll tell you why. You know what this sounds like? It sounds like a hostage situation. I have to kiss the owners to keep my job. That's something you won't ever hear me do. Very, very simply, media cannot be honest. Because if you say something mean, the team gets all in their feelings. A lot like our local station. We'll leave that alone. The point is, very, very simply, I've had my own hometown teams block me because they don't like me. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Because very, very simply, I watch sports for honesty. I watch sports for nothing short of honesty from the people who talk about my teams. And that's why I got into this. Because I love it. I love being able to talk about my teams. I remember being a little boy and I'd argue with my grandpa. Now mind you, I am only like 5'6". On top of that, my grandpa was like 6'10". But we would always argue about the hometown Tigers. And very, very simply, as many of us know, this team for years has been filled with ineptitude, stupidity, morons in the front office and at GM. You win, I say nice things. You lose, I say mean things. That's how it works. Period. And if you expect me to shill so I can get a bigger paycheck, you can blow it right out your rear end. Because if you expect me to come on here and say nice things about these teams, for you, the fan, that has sat there and has dealt with ineptism, stupidity, being just flat out low rate and even cheap. If you expect me in any way, shape, or form to come on here and say nice things when teams lose, then you haven't listened to me enough. I think you are totally naive if you believe Kevin Brown wrote that statement. But as far as it goes, what is so funny about this and ironic is all the people that came to his aid and said, hey, I'm going to stand with you, Kevin. Other media. That worked out real well. Nice. Looks good. I dig that. All right. The point is that people came to this guy's aid. And you had Orioles fans chanting his name. And look, I've always said it. Sports is pain. And there is not a team on this earth or a fan base on this earth that understands the pain of what Detroiters have gone through. Now, the Orioles might be a nice comp. However, it is very, very simple To me, that statement screams hostage. But what would you rather have? Would you rather be lied to and told that you're pretty and that you're beautiful and you're this and you're that when your team is in last place and your team is losing? Not only that, but on top of that, the idea that there has been plenty of times that each one of our pro teams have found the silliest and craziest freaking ways to lose. I'm not that way. I'm not that way. I never will be. Period. You win, I say nice things. You lose, I say mean things. Period. Alrighty. So there's that. Let's jump into the Lions. Well, actually, no. Wait a minute. We need to revert back to the Tigers because boy, oh boy. A lot of Tiger fans were irked on Thursday. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, I know why. Because of the fact of that they traded away Michael Lorenzen to the Phillies, and in his Phillies home debut, he throws a no-no. Whoa, buddy. Now here's where I laugh. Because it's very, very on brand for the Tigers. They congratulated Michael Lorenzen with a scoreboard message. Congrats, Michael Lorenzen, on a no-no. He's not even with the team anymore. And yet we're congratulating this guy. That's great. That is great. So look, it's a simple question. I want to know where you're at with it. You know, Michael Lorenzen threw a no-no. And boy, I got to tell you that Michael Lorenzen take is paying off. I said it straight up. If you want me to come on here and tell you that Scott Harris is not doing his job, first thing I said, Michael Lorenzen has to continue pitching out of his mind. Well, sure enough, looky there. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put a bow on the YouTube stuff. So this coming week, I am going to be testing something. No, it's not just the random thumbnails. But I am going to be testing something. I'm going to bounce around a little bit as far as playthroughs, but on top of that, I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to switch in and out. And here's what I mean by that. What I mean is that it's going to be a lot like today. We're going to talk about the playthrough. We'll go over a couple things. We'll talk about it. And basically, I'll just ramble on for a few minutes. And then there are going to be other things or other playthroughs where I'm going to bring up the topics that I have in my notebook. And I'm going to see what you guys like better. If you guys like this better, where it's just we hop right into it, we get playing, and we go ahead and we just jump right into the topics. Or if you guys like just bouncing around a little bit, for a little bit, we'll talk about the playthrough, and then we'll jump into the topics, and then we'll bounce around a little bit more. We'll talk a little more about the playthrough, and then we can kind of just go from there on it and see exactly what is going to happen. So we'll go from there on it. We'll see what exactly is going to come from that. So that's what we're going to try this weekend. Look, I talked about it before. I do have family coming in September. So look, I'm very interested to see how I'm going to handle this. It's going to be a lot on me, so I don't know. I know I'm not going to have time to stream. But if I can put up a short here and there, maybe even create a post, make sure you guys check the community tab every single day. I'm always posting over there. Make sure you guys check out the community tab. Lots and lots and lots of posts are going up. So, with that, let's get into let's revert back to college for a moment here. I talked about the 2 super conferences with 24 teams. Now, with that, this is where I think we can have an interesting conversation. And what I mean by that is that you need to fully seal the deal. You know, we see these contracts getting done with TV networks, right? Guys, it's not going backwards. So you know what I say? Make it a 16-team playoff, 12 pods in each division, or both of the super conferences, and let the TV networks take over. And in fact, hold on, let me get a drink because I can taste those tears already. Oh, yeah. Alright, so, it is going to have to be reworked. Obviously, we know the 24 schedule needs to be reworked. All of it. You let the TV networks run the deal, and your schedule is based on last year. So let's just say you go we'll just say 8-4. Guys, your schedule is going to get harder. Now, let's say you're like, let's just say you go, 2-10. Your schedule is going to get easier. Your schedule is based off of last year. Now, look, I know. Listen, I really can't even believe I just said it either, but listen, I think it's simple as it is you let the TV networks decide the matchups because they want premium matchups. They don't want boring. And you embrace an NFL model. That's really where I'm at with it. Okay. So if you got thoughts on it, we'd love to hear it. Let's hop over to the Lions. Lions sign Teddy Bridgewater. Look, Teddy makes you better, period. He's the best of the bunch. But here's my question. Does it finally make you jump on board? Does it finally make you jump on board to where you are going to, you don't have to be all in, but I think regarding Friday's preseason game, I think we finally see the reason of why we needed Teddy, for sure. Or not. But I do. I think you finally see the reason of why we needed Teddy regarding the play or the I almost said the playoff game. Wow. Oh my. But no, it makes you better. And I just wonder, now that we have a quality backup, are you finally willing to jump on board? Oh, trust me, we're going to talk about JMO. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about JMO. That's not what I'm focusing on right now. But I want to know, does it finally make you jump on board a little bit? Or does it make you, or does it bring you all the way in? I'd love to know. I'd love to know where you're at with it. All right. By the way, does anybody listen to the I'm Listening podcast? By chance? I listened to the one with Corey Taylor from Slipknot. I know, a farmer listening to Slipknot. Crazy, right? The point is, that it's a podcast about mental health. And look, I was already a Slipknot fan before this, but holy hell. Listening to that interview with Corey Taylor, dudes, I am such a fan of Corey now. What he said was just, it was amazing. So, just wondered. And yes, I'm going to have weird questions like that. So, listen. Okay. There's a couple other things here. It does look like LR Modding has got a beautiful DB90 in the works. Can't wait to be using that. Legacy has got a 40 by 120 implement shed in the works, which looks incredible. So there's a Med Creek convert going on. Would love to be able to play on that. MRG. Anybody watch that stream, by the way? The return to Marksville. We'll definitely be on there. All right. So for the people who are skeptical to jump on board, I have a question for you. And I just want to know, because obviously it's almost football season, and we got a bit of excitement in the air. Okay? Or excitement. If this team is 3-1 by week 4, which is not even asking a lot, would you finally jump on board? And I would love to know. I'd love to know if at 3-1 by week 4, would you finally jump on? Now look, you guys know how I feel about this team. Now I do think there is a little bit of a switch that we do need to talk about, and we're going to get into that here in a moment. But no, listen, I think it's interesting based on there's a lot of people who are skeptical, and you know, there's a lot of people out there who are, you know, they're more worried about what happened in, you know, 1993, you know, than right now. But the point is that, you know, I'd love to know if by week 4 this team is sitting at 3-1. I'd love to know, would you finally jump on board? Okay. So I've got a question regarding the Lions, Michigan, and Michigan State. I'm going to talk about Michigan State here in just a minute. But I have a question. Who has the most pressure out of the 3 teams? Michigan with the aspirations of a national title. You have the Lions winning a division and hosting and winning a home playoff game. And then we get to Michigan State. And this is a very, very pivotal year for Mel Tucker and the Michigan State Spartans. And what I think is interesting is that with this, I'm not going to put in Vegas, but the win total is over under 5.5, right? And look, there's a lot of questions. Excuse me one moment. Alright. But it's going to be a pivotal year with Michigan State. And obviously Mel Tucker got paid. And then, of course, now there is a QB competition. No changes to the staff. Um, you have questions about identity. The defense having to take a step forward. And as far as the QB competition, Mel Tucker has to be right. To me, yeah, it is a make or break year. You get to 8 wins max, I'm good with it. I read the article or an article the other day saying Mel Tucker's on the hot seat. I don't know how much I buy that. If you have a losing season this year, then look, I think it's the hottest seat heading into 24. There's a lot of other things that went in with that article that I didn't quite appreciate. And we'll just leave that there. Yeah. Pretty disgusting stuff. The point is that, look, what I'm interested in, is who has the most pressure? Is it Mel Tucker in Michigan State? Is it the fact of the Lions and us asking them to do something that they've never done? And that we can see the foundation? If you can't see the foundation that the Lions are building, then I have to question how many blinders you have on. Point blank. Or is it Michigan? Now look, I loved Blake Corum's comments because of it's natty or bust. And look, the thing is that very, very simply, I think he earned the right to say that because he is a senior. He's a leader in that room. But that's the thing is that, as far as it goes, who has the most pressure? For me, it's the Lions with the headlines. And in fact, I'm going to just go ahead and say it now. For months, I've been saying you have the 3 biggest headlines in the NFL. Now, there's more than that. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty more than that. But you know what the other thing is? The roles in which the headlines were ranked have now changed. Look, you've got a lot of people very concerned about JMO after the preseason game. You've got a lot of people concerned after everything that we've heard out of training camp, all the stuff in the off season. For me, it is the Lions based on the fact of not only the fact of are we asking them to do something they've never done, but on top of that, it is also the fact of that with said expectations, you've got to find out if Dan Campbell is going to be the man to lead this team. There is a small collective group that I'm in that, yeah, Brad's the guy. We have the GM. Now we need the coach. And this year has got to prove it. And that comes along with expectations. Oh boy, we're going to have to do a little bit of driving here. But look, I think right now, I think number one is JMO. Number two is the fact of your head coach. Everybody loves Dan Campbell. I don't know how you can't love the guy. But to me, it is a prove-it year for Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, if the goal is met, I'll be the first one on here to tell you, Dan is the guy. And then number three, Jared Goff is playing for his career, actually. And we talked about it in the last stream. We talked about it with Brad Holmes' comments, saying we're going to do what's right for the franchise. But look, here's the deal. Very, very simply, I think the roles in which your biggest headlines of this season are, I think they've absolutely changed places. And I want to know, do you agree? Do you disagree? Where you at with it? Because I'd love to hear it. On top of that, I mean, it's very, very simple. To me, it is the idea of that Jared Goff is playing for a contract. And I think what it's going to come down to ultimately is if the goal is met. If the goal is met, that in that sense of you win a home playoff game and you win the division, it's also changed another take. Christmas Eve is going to be a pivotal game for Jared Goff. Now look, I've been saying it, and I truly believe it. I think by Christmas Eve, you're going to have this thing wrapped up. But to me, with the idea of these roles changing, is that not only is Jared Goff playing for his future, but Jared is also playing for the sense of being the leader of this team. Now look, I think it's very, very simple. If you have this thing wrapped up by Christmas Eve, which I believe is week 14 or 15, I would say at least that next week, based on the pressure of how good Jared Goff is playing, maybe even heading into week 16, I think, to me, that's when I think the rumblings are going to start of the Jared Goff contract. Now, he's not getting a $50 million contract. I'll tell you that right now. We're probably going to be looking at 45, 40 maybe. And look, as I said, it's a gamble. It's an absolute gamble by Brad Holmes. It's an absolute gamble by Dan Campbell, by Sheila, and Jared himself. But to me, it's very, very simple. I think it comes down to now the number one headline is going to be is JMO. I think number two is Dan Campbell, and this being the make or break year for him. And then, for me, Jared Goff sits at number three. And as far as number 4 goes, it's Aiden Hutchinson. Now, as you guys know, I am a Aiden slap. I love Aiden. Aiden is my guy. But look, my thing with Aiden, he's got to have, in that sense, he's got to have a better win rate. I don't care about sacks. I don't care about any of that. You get a better win rate, you're going to have a monster career in the NFL. So I want to know, who's got the most pressure? Okay. So then, we get into the Kyle Brandt audio. Now, of course, with YouTube, I would love to be able to play the audio, but yeah, let's not do that. I've worked way too hard on this channel to go ahead and lose it. The point is, Kyle Brandt of NFL Network had a very, very interesting rant regarding the Lions. And I will just go ahead and tell you, guys, he's absolutely right. Whether you want to believe it or not. Now look, we've taken calls that, people are more worried about 93 than they are right now. And, I was so hurt this year that I just couldn't come back. Okay, thank you for that. The point is, very, very, very simply, to me, the history is a part of the story. Don't get me wrong. But anything within the past 5 years, anything past 5 years ago, I gotta be honest with you, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That's such a straw man argument. I hear a bunch of losers out there saying, well, it's the Lions. They're not going to do anything. Oh, it's the Lions. Oh, okay. Yeah, nice straw man argument you got there. I don't want to hear it. I don't care about then. I care about right now. And that's where we're at. Is right here, right now. And my thing being is, look, if you're living in the past, boy, I gotta tell you, it's the wrong way to live life. Because I'll be honest with you, and this really has nothing to do with Lions, but it's more about when you live in the past, and this goes for everybody, men, women, children, whoever. When you live in the past, guess what happens? And I've dealt with this before. You get stuck in your head. You get stuck of what could have been, what should have been. Oh, well, I could have done this different. Oh, well, I could have done this. Oh, well, I could have done that. Oh, well, it could have been this. Oh, well. And then you know what happens? You get depressed. You get hard on yourself. You get anxiety, depression. You start to, distance yourself a little bit. Guys, it's the same way here with being a fan. Point blank. When you live in the past, you get stuck. And when you get stuck in the past, all you worry about is the past. And when you worry about the past, it gets you to a point of where you're at. So when I bring up that real life aspect to it, it is, look, it's very, very simple. It is the idea of that, look, I think at the end of the day, I think it's very, very simple. Being stuck in the past, what does it really get you? Besides frustration, anxiety, depression, upset, mad, etc. What do you get out of that? I talked about it earlier. In life you only get one shot. You got to do what makes you happy. Now, with what I'm about to get to, look, some people just like misery. And I can't understand those people. I can't. Because you know what? In this life, you are meant to be you, not anybody else. You are meant to be you, and you are meant to be happy in whatever it is you want to do, even if it's misery and pain. And what I can't understand that is the outrage that happened Friday night. And to me, look, I'll just go ahead and tell you, all this is this is another way for people to complain and bitch and moan and all that kind of stuff. That's all it is. Very, very simply. So we had tornadoes in the area, and they had touched down. There was hail in the area. It was raining ridiculously. We ended up losing power. And you know, all that stuff. People were pissed at Fox 2. For what? And not only that, but here's the thing. And again, this is, and I hate using this term, but sometimes you just have to. Average fan syndrome. AFS. That's right. No, not like Case, AFS Connect. We're not doing that. The point is that people were pissed. Let me remind you, it was a preseason game in the third quarter. On top of that, by FCC rule, they have to stay with you and they have to continually update you on said storm or emergency or whatever it may be. So help me understand the outrage, because people were pissed. But let's switch gears over to the game. Lots of overreactions. We don't do overreactions here. But I will tell you, I think and again, I mean, it's not really a hot take, but again, it really is a take. Look, here's the deal. Very, very simply. That performance was not good enough by Jamison Williams. Now look, there's a couple of things I'm not gonna, fault him on. But he did play into the third quarter. And I'll go ahead and tell you, it must be the same way with the Jags. If not the entire game. He has to become the best wide receiver on the field next to Amon-Ra. And in this system, he is not going to get a lot of targets because this team wants to run the ball. Now, as far as it goes, it did look like he was a willing blocker. It looked as if he was willing to block. But I did not see the separation. I did not see the speed. And look, I think most of us can agree to an extent that he absolutely is in his rookie year. Because he was not in training camp last year. And this is going to be his first full season. So with that said, let's get a temp check in. How concerned are you? 1 to 10. 10 being emergency sirens are going off. 1 being, nah, we're good. But I want to hear it from you guys. For me right now, I'd say I'm in the middle at about a 6.5, 7. And I'll tell you this, if I was Dan Campbell, I'd be going to JMO and saying, look, you're staying late after practice every single time, and you're hitting the jugs machine with St. Brown. Yeah, and spoiler alert, I'll just go ahead and tell y'all this too. After the Jags game and joint practices, after the preseason game, we're going to do another temp check. It's the same thing with after the preseason. Because I think after then, I think people are going to go. I think it's going to be up to a 10 for everybody when he's away because he can't practice until week 4. But look, Aquaros definitely shined. Jack Campbell shined. Brian Branch, his closing speed, that hit, I loved it. The Bridgewater signing, you see why. Okay, so we are going to let that go. And we are going to take and we are going to get this going. I'm debating on if I still want to put up lights on the old fence there. I don't know, we'll see. Alrighty. I don't specifically remember how much this takes, but I think for now this is going to be our primary hauler for our production here. Now, as far as that goes, would you guys want to see any of the productions with... Wow, that was a bad turn. Would you guys want to see any of the productions on this map utilized? Because there are some that has been built into the map. And I know it's way too early for this. Like way, way too early. You'll rarely ever hear me talk about this. But I do have one expectation for the 2024 draft. And I do want to know if you guys agree. What is that? Offensive line. Alrighty. But no, it should be a good week. Not sure how it's going to go. But I do know we're going to be back on this week. So, for right now, I would say expect a couple of shorts tomorrow. But I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. It might be, it might not be. I have no clue as of where we're going to be at regarding tomorrow. So, I mean, I know I'm not getting out of work until I think it's 6. So we'll see. So, look, if I can get on and I can get a stream in, you bet we'll be doing it. But if not, it'll be a short. I don't really have a schedule for post. Usually when I see stuff we're going to talk about, or I just see stuff that it is in that needs to be posted, at least in my opinion, we're gonna be all over it. So With that said, not too sure again on how tomorrow is going to work. We'll see. But I would just say I would assume, but yeah, let's not do that. Let's just go ahead and we'll just go from there. So let's go ahead and oh yeah, I gotta mention this as well. So I forgot. I totally wanted to talk about this. I didn't even get into it. Wow. Bad job on my part. But with that, with the videos, as you guys know, I like to stream more than I do post videos. But I still gotta post some videos every now and then. But we're at a month ago. The only problem that I have is that when I record a video on my computer, there's no sound. I have tried everything. And so I have no clue. I have no clue how to fix it. So, unfortunately, videos are going to have to be from the phone for right now. Until I can get this thing figured out. If anybody can help me on that, I greatly appreciate it. Because I have no clue. Because it starts out fine, and then 4 or 5 seconds in, it just stops, and the audio just cuts out. So I don't even know. I don't know what it can be. I am completely stuck. So with that said, videos will be on the phone for now. So I just wanted to bring that up so I hope you guys can understand that when it comes time to stream, no worries, we'll be in Streamlabs doing our thing. But when a video needs to be posted, if I ever get around to the videos, which I will, it's just a pain in the because of getting home and having to do everything that I'm taking care of, especially with my mom, with my pup, all that kind of stuff. The point is that I am just completely stuck on what it could be. I have tried to redo the settings. I've tried to, I've tried everything. So I don't know what the case is as far as recording a video on my computer. With that, I just want you guys to understand that videos will be recorded from my phone and then just posted, because for some reason my computer won't allow me to do it. Unfortunately, which makes me very upset. But the thing is that, like I said, I'd rather do streams than anything, because the streams, it is very, very simple. I love being able to stream, and plus, Plus, just not having to do it from my phone makes it so much easier. I mean, don't get me wrong, I paid a ton for my phone to be able to work from my phone, but it just doesn't beat the computer, in my opinion. So, but yeah, when we're streaming, no biggie at all. It's gonna be straight up. You know, we'll be in Streamlabs, we'll be doing our thing, and just going from there. But as far as videos, that's just the drill, and it sucks, but I gotta figure it out. So, but with that said, that's gonna do it for this one today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. A little bit of something different, a little something new. It's going to be interesting because I rarely ever use productions, and so I want to try and get into that lane a little bit more. But as far as it goes, I would just say be expecting some stuff this week. Whether it's post, whether it's shorts, whether it's live streams. Now live streams might be a little bit shorter than normal, but look, when we get the time, we'll get right back to it. So, with that said, that is going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys could, hit the like for the Brew Crew. I know we're going to try and get TJ on here, and we'll go from there. If you guys do want to see any other productions within this map that are on the map that you want me to download and use, whatever it may be, let me know, because I love all of your guys' suggestions, all that. So with that said, guys, welcome to